beautiful muses. Welcome to CosmoMuse Tarot. Today we have an interesting reading, which is going to be looking at what your most enigmatic quality is. So if you don't know what enigmatic means, it's sort of like something that's hard to grasp. So like your most mysteriously mystical quality. That may even sometimes elude you of like what this is. I can't quite pinpoint it. So we're going to try, even though enigmatic qualities, really the nature of them aren't meant to like be pinpointed. We're going to try and get a little more context, get a little more, help you understand this enigmatic, your most enigmatic quality a little bit more. Okay, so we've got four piles today. We've got pile 1 with Aquamarine, pile 2 with Opalite, pile 3 with green Calcite, and pile 4 with some clear crystal quartz. And just an aside, each of the decks here are going to be the 4 decks I use in each of the readings. So don't necessarily pick by deck unless that is what is drawing you in. But yeah, you can use any of the things, just whatever is naturally just kind of where you feel a magnetic draw. You could use the stones, you could use the color of the cards, the design of the cards, or the 1, 2, 3, 4, if you have a number that sticks out to you. So if you have your own way of picking cards, you can pause here and do that and then jump down to the timestamps in the description. But if you are someone that likes the breath work I do to help you get into a good space for really tuning into which is your right pile, we will jump into that breath work now. So place your feet firmly on the ground. Feel that solidity and stability underfoot or underneath you if you're sitting. And take a deep breath into that. Really wait into your body to wait into that stability. So grounding in. Hold that, hold that. And exhale. And now take another deep breath in, and this time suck the air up, up, up into the space between your brows. Hold that. Suck in a little more to add pressure at that third eye spot. And then out loud, exhale, opening up your crown chakra. Now gaze over the 4 piles and ask which one has your aligned message. All right, I will see you guys in your readings. Hello, pile 1. Welcome to your reading, all about looking into your most enigmatic quality, and you picked the Aquamarine. So I'm just going to place your stone to the side over here. See if it ever wants to speak up within the reading. So this is going to be a pretty, we'll see. This is the first one, but I am only doing 4 cards here. I don't feel like some of these enigmatic qualities should be fully nailed down. Something needs to stay enigmatic about them, but we just want to get a little bit more familiar with, understand whatever this enigmatic quality is a little bit more. So we're going to pick a goddess, an animal, and then a couple other oracle cards to kind of bring some insight into your most enigmatic quality. Saraswati, mastery. And this, if I'm not mistaken, is also a goddess that rules over the written word, the art, music. And so adding that keyword of mastery in there, it's sort of like excellence in kind of like a creative expression. So there may be something around you where you just kind of like can tap into a flow space. You know, and adding 45 here, adding those together, you get 9. So there is like a very universal energy around this quality that you have. I think there's something about you that really has an open channel to creative flow. And so you may not understand where your inspiration comes from, where certain creative talents come from. It's like you're a channel. It's like you open up and you're willing to kind of hone your earthly abilities to create certain skills. But the content itself is like channeled. And I think it's something maybe you don't understand. Like, yeah, you know, I'll just use an example. Like maybe you're someone who plays violin and you will put in the work to practice and to understand how to read music and how to play technically. But there's this other side of you where it's like maybe you can hear a piece of music and without seeing the sheet music just easily be able to play it like really expertly, or like a song just like downloads into you and you compose something and you're like, I don't necessarily have training in composing, like I understand music, but it just like can't, like it just arrived. And that's what I'm feeling here. It's like the part you can understand is like you have the devotion and the ritual and the dedication to develop skills, but what comes through you into that skill is beyond you and you don't know where it comes from. And it's that there's a channel energy there. And I can't tell from where I'm sitting if it's just general flow of energy that you open to certain channels, or if there's specific spirit beings that are channeling through you. So I'm not sure if it's a more general thing that you tend to open to certain currents, or if there's something more specific coming through you. Okay, let's look at an animal to add a little context here. Hawk. Beautiful. That's messages again. The aspect of hawk I'm picking up here is messages. You may even, going back to the metaphor of playing the violin or some instrument, you may hear other artists talk about certain musical pieces that like you'd never heard, and then when you go to check it out, it's like a deja vu, like I've already heard that. But I feel like part of how you tune into, so this is some guidance of like how to tune into this enigmatic quality more often, if you would like, is there are constant messages coming to you if you pay attention. Not just through those downloads, that channeling. There's like synchronicities constantly around you where someone will mention something and then you'll feel that as important. You'll take like a step, like I said, like someone mentions a piece of music that kind of you'd never heard about and you're like, what is that? I don't know, for some reason that has piqued my interest, and then you go to listen to it and it's like you're, like I know that piece of music. And then you get like some confirmation later, like your mother saying like, oh, my favorite song is this. And you're like, what? I've never heard that song, and that just came up. And like, it's just this confirmation that then comes through. And it's something about that. And I know this is just like a metaphor, totally. But then there's something about that song that opens something up in you, that then you channel in a new composition because of being open through that song. So it's like these synchronicities around you that are helping you to find that channel. Yeah, so it's synchronicities and messages around you that are leading you to know where to open your channels. Open to those inspirations, those channels, those downloads that come in around creativity. So don't take those types of synchronicities for granted, or little messages that come that you're like, why am I so interested in that? Stay with that. It's leading you to where you plug into your channels of, where you get your channeling from. How do you open to the next channel and the next channel? Like if you're looking for that thing that opens you to that channel, it's like pay attention to those messages and synchronicities that are leading you to that. I'm just thinking about the old-timey phone operators when it was all landlines and they first came out, and those operators had to like plug people in, it feels like that. It's like you're having to just pay attention to the messages coming in so that you know where to plug in, if that makes sense. Okay, so let's do an oracle card from the Threads of Fate. The Weaver. Yes, and something specifically like around your hands are magic. That expression, something about your hands, playing instruments, writing, even like healing energy. Literally, if you weave or paint or something with your hands feels important here. And so let your hands go. When they start creating, when you're in that channel, when you've tapped that channel and something is channeling through you, get out of your mind and just let your hands go. It's not even like plugging into emotion or plugging into instinct. It's like surrendering to what your hands do. It's like they've got power. They are part of they're like the thing that's being, going back to the metaphor of those old-timey phone operators. That's what's being plugged into. It's your hands. It's like a direct circuit into your hands, which is so odd. I would never think of that. You would think it would kind of like come through into your heart and then to your hands, but it's like it's going into your hands and then into your heart. There's something about, and even do that, like open up your hands. Let that center of your palm kind of receive energy, charge them up, open them up. Something about that. Yeah. Okay, and then our last card, I kind of wanted to see, hopefully this one works. It's a slightly newer deck to me and I don't know all the cards, so I'm partially just going to be going off of what I feel. If I don't really know what the card means, I'm just going to, some of the cards I'll probably know what they mean, and some I'm just going to have to go with what kind of feeling it brings up. But like, what right now do you need to know about this is what this last card. Ooh, well, 2 cards turned over. We have Know Thyself and Assertiveness, which I love this because look at this. If this isn't something being channeled, I don't know what that is. Know thyself. I think this is talking about like having confidence in the devotion to bringing skillfulness to your craft, to your expression, And then just know is like, know this enigmatic quality. And that's part of knowing yourself, is allowing that to just come through you and surrendering it. Because that know thyself and then this channeling coming in, it's like, and look, this is 2 sets of eyes. She has 2 sets of eyes. There's another pair of eyes. That answers the question I had before. This is like specific spirit beings coming through you. You are like a vessel or a channel for creative spirits to come into you and create. And there's something about them being able to enter, to plug into your hands, which then like opens up that crown chakra. There's something about like, yeah, like turning on through your hands is like the thing that opens your crown chakra and allows, which also gives me the insight that this is up to you. You have control of this, because this may sound scary to some of you. And this is saying you have control of this. That's also the know thyself. Know when you're ready for it, and know when you have boundaries and like, no, I don't want something to channel through me right now. You have control of this. You can close. If you feel something coming through you and you're not ready to channel, or you don't feel like it, close your fists. Gone. They're out. But when you're craving that, 'cause I think it's a beautiful thing, it's meant to be a very beautiful thing. You're allowing the spirit world to give gifts through you to the world. And so when you are willing to be that vessel and to put on loan your skills and your name and body, whatever, yeah, you can channel from really specifically amazing, expressive, artistic, creative spirit beings, but it's like specific ones coming into you. And assertiveness, and I think this is just saying like, get more clear about when you do versus don't want this, and when you do want to be assertive about going about it, and when you don't want it, be assertive about your boundaries. But you have control here is what I'm getting. Wow, very interesting. I wasn't sure how this reading would go, and you guys were my first kind of guinea pig pile, but I love this. This is super cool. Yeah, anyway, if this resonates, definitely would love to get the things, so like, share, subscribe. And I am always grateful to hear from real people in the comments. And certainly kind and thoughtful comments are appreciated. All right, I will see you guys in future readings. Hello, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading all about insight into your most enigmatic quality. And you guys picked this Opalite, which we're going to put over here for your reading. So I'm just going to be, it's kind of a quick reading, and the first pile was a little bit of an experiment. I wasn't sure how it was going to go, but I really loved what came through. So I'm excited to get into yours. So we're just doing 4 cards. It's kind of a short reading. I think these enigmatic qualities need to stay somewhat enigmatic, but I just want to give like a little peek, a little bit of insight and guidance around how to tap into and what it is, and yeah. Okay, so first we're going to pick a goddess card to kind of show the general nature of this enigmatic quality. Green Tara, salvation. Ooh, I love this. You are a productive person, but there's something about your productivity that is like hard to pin down. Because when people talk about productivity, and especially I'll say when I talk about productivity through the astrological realm, it has a lot to do with creating very rhythmic days and processes that help you to create systems, that help you to create efficiency And it's kind of a, there's a science to that madness, but it's not that enigmatic if you understand it. But for you guys, this is something enigmatic that happens. It's like the way you manage your day-to-day efforts or your work processes or your processes in general in life. It's like you just have a light touch. You have like the, what is the term? Why can't I think of it? The Midas touch, the golden touch. It's like when you touch something, for some people, there's a lot of trial and error of trying to figure out what the right ecosystem is and process and systems in general needed to help certain things flourish in life, whether it's general lifestyle, your health, your nutrition, your job, your family, whatever it is. It's like everything that you touch, it's like you don't have to go through as much trial and error as others. It's like pretty immediately exactly how to create the right ecosystem for things. And people, I think, and sometimes even you are like, I don't know, I just knew what it needed. I just understand what is the right ecosystem for things and how to delegate and who can do what. It's like you absorb so much more of the world and your environments around you than you or anyone else realizes. And you may feel like all that you absorb kind of goes into nowhere, into nothingness, but it doesn't. It's just that it can only be accessed when the right thing tugs at it. And so when you come into something, doing something new or needing to create more productivity or fruitfulness in something, it's like that thing gets pinged immediately and you're like, I knew I took that in at some point, but it was just in this nebula of nothingness in me somewhere, but I don't know how I knew exactly to pull that thing out, and I didn't even know I could access it. Like I knew it was in there, but I didn't know how to access it, but it was like the right thing comes along and it immediately pings it. So it's like there's a productivity around you, an ability to manage, an ability to delegate, an ability to create ecosystems. But the way in which it happens for you is very enigmatic and mysterious and mystical. It's almost like a composing ability around being able to make things productive. It's like you're a composer of productivity. You're an artist of productivity. And through that, tapping in then to the keyword salvation, it just creates a certain reverence about you. It creates a certain holiness around you, not in a religious sense, just I think people know that they will find salvation through you. If they need help, you are the person that can be turned to. You are salvation for things and people and places and processes. You bring salvation to anything that you touch because you know exactly what it needs to make it flourish. Wow, super cool. And you have 18, which adds up to 9, and the first pile had a 9 too. I'm loving these 9s coming through. It's like very big universal energies, like really knowing how to handle a lot, knowing how to tackle a lot. You can take a lot on and easily, lightly distill what's needed out of it. Gorgeous. Love it. Okay, let's pick an animal to get a little bit more detail, context around this. Panther. Ooh, that's an interesting match. Panther's all about not being afraid to confront shadows or confront things that need confronting. To me, what's coming through here is like you're not scared to go into any kind of situation that is complicated, complex, or chaotic. You are willing to get in there into the chaos because you have so much trust in that just artful ability you have of creating systems and order and organization and management skills. And so you're willing to just like go into the trenches of absolute chaos and have confidence and stand in there with just ease and lightness and like you have it, you got it. So if this doesn't sound familiar to you, I would test yourself a little with this. I would push yourself a little with this because this is something, the Spirit is saying that you've got this quality within you and it's time to bring it out of you, to put it to use in the world if you haven't yet. For some of you, this may ring true immediately, like, yeah, that's totally it. But for some of you, you may be like, well, I don't know. And it's like maybe you haven't had the opportunities to put this into action, but it's there and it's time to step into this. Okay, we're going to pick an oracle card from the Threads of Fate. The Void. This adds actually context. I was going to say this kind of confirms the Panther, but now it's like, no, this adds another layer of context of like, you're able to take things from incubation, from concept, from abstraction, move through the chaos of that, and then orchestrate something real. Move it in all the way from the phase of incubation to the phase of maturation, of taking something all the way to the point where it then can thrive on its own. You are the productive like mother archetype that just like really knows how to give birth to something, how to raise it, and how to prepare it to be on its own. But this is saying, I think right now at this moment in your life, there's something that is incubating. There is something that is deep within that is going to need that energy, that enigmatic quality you have of like knowing exactly how to create that right ecosystem and birth and raise whatever's coming through you that's incubating right now. Let's get a little more context of what you need to know right now about this. Teachers. Yeah, you have a mentor quality within you. And what's said about mentoring is any mentor needs a mentor themselves. So that's something that, this card really purposely being about what is the right now advice. The right now advice is saying you are capable of being a mentor, step into that role, but find a mentor of your own as well. Find someone that can support you, that can push your growth, that gets this enigmatic quality. They also have this enigmatic quality, but they're like a little bit more experienced or older or wiser somehow. It's time to like find that person and to open yourself up into receiving the mentees. It's time to really put this into action with confidence and it's like the world needs, and specific people in the world need what you have to offer. So very cool. All right, this is where I'm going to leave you guys. Very cool, enigmatic quality. I think it's a beautiful one, and one anyone would be lucky to have around them, I would imagine. So people in your life are lucky, I would imagine. to have you. So yeah, this is where I'm going to leave you. If it resonated, I always appreciate the things like, share, subscribe, and definitely always nice to hear real human words behind the, technology and numbers of the system. So little kind and thoughtful comments are always appreciated and fun to see. So, all right. I hope you have a beautiful day wherever and whenever you are. See you guys. Hello, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading all about looking into your most enigmatic quality. We want to this reading's going to be somewhat short, just giving you a better feel for what this is, how to access it, what its kind of purpose is. But we're going to keep it short because I want to, enigmatic things are supposed to stay enigmatic. If we reveal all the secrets behind it, they're no longer that enigmatic. So this is just sort of like an overview, getting you a little bit more familiar, giving you a little bit of insight. So you guys picked this beautiful green calcite. It's one of my favorite stones, and we're just going to kind of put that to the side. So this is only going to be 4 cards, and our starting card is a goddess card, which is going to give us insight into the nature of this enigmatic quality that you have. This one wants to come out, Earth. Beautiful. And this could mean so many different things. It could be having sort of a really intuitive, mystical understanding of seasons and cycles. It could have a really kind of mystical understanding of environmentalism, of growing, of cultivating gardens. But no matter what it is for you in particular, or even if it kind of encompasses all of these things, you have a mystical ability to really be able to ground things and manifest things, make things material, make things 3D. And the way in which you do that, because it's interesting, like earth energy is much more concrete than, there are things mystical about how the earth works, but sort of, like we can understand the science behind it. Versus more in the ethereal realm. So this is just showing that like your understanding of earth magic seems to come from some ethereal realm, like channeled from somewhere else, some higher wisdom of how to work with earth magic. You may be someone who understands alchemy really well, herbalism, using remedies for healing that are very earth-centered, that kind of tapping back into that alchemical understanding, understanding the body, all these things, understanding how to grow things, understanding the body, everything in the 3D realm. You really know how to anchor it in a way that other people are like, how do they do that? They just seem to know how to, like work with earth magic, create 3D magic. Yeah, so that's kind of the cornerstone, the foundation of your most enigmatic quality. And I can't help but with Gaia, there's always that connection to the being able to birth things, so especially in that physical realm, how to give birth to physical things. It doesn't have to be a baby, but like some people may know how to create music and give birth to like a creative project like music, or something with a spoken word or with their voice. But for you, it's like you know how to give birth to things you can hold, you can touch, you can feel. You have to it's like this mold, you know how to mold things. Okay, we are going to, ooh, and this just popped out, actually 2 popped out. I was going to say we're going to get a card from the spirit or the animal archetype, or the animal, sorry, the animal spirit deck, the wild unknown animal spirit deck, to get a little more context, and it just kind of like popped out with 2 cards, so we're going to take them both. And these both are actually, within this deck, there are some spirit type animals that are not, animals we see in our 3D realm. So you have black egg, which is expression, and phoenix, knowing how to transmute, transform, and resurrect things. So you are someone that is not afraid to use your voice to speak up, as well as to tear things apart and rebuild them. It's a very expressive quality, and this connects with, the black egg connects with our throat chakra, but I've always had a sense with the throat chakra that it's about expression, and that doesn't always have to be about voice. So I do feel kind of like a creative thing going on here, like how to create, and it's an expression that you have. The way you give form and birth 3D things, material themes, is an expression of yours. And you're not afraid to really move with the life cycles of things. When things need to be recycled. You understand that process of conservation and of recycling, and that materials can return into the earth, regenerate and resurrect as something new, rebirth as something new. You understand that that's something you're not afraid of. And I think it's that daring, because sometimes that is a very daring energy, to allow things to kind of die and rebirth. It's like you have an intensity within you in this enigmatic thing, and it is ethereal in a sense, like it's coming from somewhere, someplace else, some magical realm of just like really understanding expression and life cycles. And like you're someone that I would imagine would not hesitate to walk up to a dilapidated house if you saw that it had the bones and the style of historical architecture and the location that you wanted, and like get in there and renovate it. Like that is something I don't think would scare you, and that's like an expression of like, I want to restore this. It's a creative expression at the same time. That's just one metaphor. Certainly you don't have to be someone that restores old historic homes, but that's like the feeling I have. It's like you're not scared to rip things apart in order to reinvent, remold, like you see endless possibility of material realm, whatever state it's in, whether it's new or old. You know exactly how to get in there and express with it. And it just comes from this place where so many people are like, I don't understand your way with the material world, with being able to create things you can touch and feel and hold and smell, and could even be like a little more, not simple but accessible, is like cooking. You may know how to take random, like your cupboard and fridge may be bare, but you know how to like get in there and be like, oh, I know exactly what I can make with what I have. Or maybe there's like leftovers and you know exactly how to like break them down and reinvent them into something that feels like a new meal. Or just creating like a new meal, a new garden, regenerating gardens, understanding when it's time to harvest and burn a field, and plant a field, you know, like you understand those life cycles of the material realm. Very, very cool, beautiful. Someone, you know, this is an enigmatic quality that our earth is in desperate need of more people like you, for sure. Okay, we are going to pick another oracle card from the Threads of Fate just to get a little bit more context. Anything else Spirit wants to talk about this? The Observer. So part of like how you access this power is through being able to step back and observe. You know how to kind of see the forest from the trees, see a vision, because you've kind of watched, you've gotten a lay of the land. You know, and even if it's like this is something where you have specific skill sets and talents, it's because you've taken your time with that to learn those and observe other people who are masterful at that. Watch how they do it, absorb it, assimilate it, integrate it as a skill set you have, but also just being able to, you know, when you get that urge to create something or renovate something, you know how to step back and kind of feel into what is right here, what is worthy of the resources I'm going to use, what is holistic about giving creation to this. You know how to step back and get a vision that's very holistic, that's very intricate and beautiful and elegant, because you're willing to kind of pause, look, think, absorb some things, assimilate some things, like really take your time. You're not scared to take your time with things. Yeah. You may be somebody that has a lot of like Taurus energy within you, is what I'm feeling like Taurus and Virgo. Like that concoction, a little, you know, like some Taurus and some Virgo in you in some way, or like second, sixth house stuff. Yeah, speaking of, that's astrology speak, by the way, if you don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, we are going to do one last card to get some information about what you need to know right now. One. Beautiful. And I love that, like, that use of the hands. There's something that's being touched here, that's being molded here, that's being almost even like played with here. It's very interesting. I'm trying to think about like what the gloves mean. To me, this is like renovation process. Like you may be in this feels like a renovation, restoring something back to its wholeness, its oneness. And you know, sometimes when you get in and have to do some really dirty work, you need to use some gloves so you don't injure your hands. That's what it feels like. There's something you're being called to, or spirit wants to bring attention to, with this enigmatic trait you have. No matter how familiar you are with this yet, like some of you may be like, yeah, I totally get that, it's spot on. And some of you might be like, I mean, interesting, I get that sense, but maybe I haven't like tapped that yet. Wherever you are on the spectrum, it's like spirit saying like, get in there. There's something drawing you in, that it's time to kind of like renovate it, to get in and do some dirty work. You know, and when I'm doing this reading, we're coming into early harvest season. So for some of you, that could be like getting in and picking fruits, but like, you know, where you might need some gloves because there might be like thorns or just like rough things, so you need gloves. For some of you, it could be that like renovating a house, or reupholstering a couch or a chair, or, you know, there's something about like really getting in there though, that it's saying it's time to like put your gloves in and do some of the dirty work here of like, really molding, really getting into the physicality of life right now, of the 3D realm, whether it's remolding something artful or like getting into food harvesting, whatever it is, there's something like, pay attention to that. Spirit's wanting you to like get in, like dig in right now. So whatever that means to you, and if you don't know, just kind of keep an open eye, that observer. This is how you tap this is how you notice what's supposed to draw you in. Step back and take some observations. What is catching your eye? What are you drawn to observing right now? Pay attention to that, and you will find that magnetic draw that is trying to kind of bring you in to kind of dig into something physical. And really, you know, for some of you, if this is something you haven't tapped yet, it's like, yeah, this is time to dig in, like get in there. And for those of you familiar with this, it might just be that time, like, ooh, yeah, I'm feeling that time. I need to dig into something. All right, so this is where I'm going to leave you guys. If this resonated, I always appreciate the things like, share, subscribe, and definitely always appreciate little kind and thoughtful comments. It's always nice to hear some actual words out there beyond, you know, tech land of numbers and whatnot. So anyway, I hope you have a beautiful day wherever and whenever you are. All right, see you guys. Hello, Pile 4. Welcome to your reading, all about kind of taking a quick peek into what your most enigmatic quality is. You guys picked this beautiful raw clear crystal quartz. We're just going to keep your stone over here for the duration of your reading. So this is going to be a somewhat quick reading. I'm just doing 4 cards. We want to keep things that are enigmatic, somewhat enigmatic, but something was calling me in to help you understand a little bit more, know how to use this enigmatic quality, where it's coming from, just a little bit more familiarization with it. But it's going to be a somewhat quick overview. We don't want to take away all of the mystery, you know? Okay, so we are going to start with a goddess card, which is going to give us kind of the cornerstone, the base layer of what this enigmatic quality is connected to. And this one wants to come out. Danu, assurance. And my limited knowledge of Danu is she was the queen, I believe, of the Tuatha De Danann. I hope that's how it's pronounced, but it was some of the original settlers in Ireland, the original tribes. At least, you know, I'm sure there maybe were people before them. I think there was I can't remember the name of them. There was a tribe, I think, a little before them, but they are, you know, kind of still in that prehistory realm, like Neolithic realm, Bronze Age realm of the people, some of the original people that made their way into Ireland and kind of settled it. And when the Christian Roman kind of realm came into kind of clearing out all of these more indigenous peoples of the British Isles, the myth is that they turned themselves into, I think it's fairies. It's either fairies or one of those more elemental beings. I want to say it's like the fairy realm. They kind of turned themselves into the fairy realm. And I think Danu was the queen of this tribe. So this has a lot to do with leadership and knowing how to change with the times. So I feel like the people that were drawn to this card is like, you have an enigmatic, a very mystic mystical, mysterious way of understanding and composing through leadership that specifically was brought in at this time on Earth that's going through so many big changes. Your enigmatic leadership quality, your way of knowing how to lead that comes from somewhere much more ethereal, somewhere much more elevated, is here to help do some leadership in some transition times of like knowing how to adapt to these times. And I love seeing new growth here, being able to sprout new things. I feel like that connects to like knowing how to lead us into a much more healthy future. I don't think the world is super healthy right now with, so much consumerism and damage to the earth. And I think there is like at the root of your leadership capacity that has an enigmatic quality. It's like because you can see, it's like you have a vision of how the world could be healthier, could be more green, could be more taken care of, could be more flourishing for everyone. There is a way to have abundance on earth for everyone if we got out of our own way and got out of our own greed. And I think you have like a vision with this. If that doesn't sound accurate, I think this is something that you are developing though. Like, but I think you're here, you have, either, like I just said, either you have already some awareness of this, some vision about a future that could be, and you need to step up into a leadership position to kind of steer more and more people towards this beautiful, flourishing vision of what could be on Earth. Or you need to start opening up to visions coming in. Opening up to kind of ethereal spirit guide nudging towards seeing things in a certain way. This is to me about like perspective. You don't have to be a doctor, have a doctorate or a master's in anything. This is about how you see. This is this is about your perspective, your way of seeing. And so if you don't fully connect to this yet, it's like you need to really listen to spirit, listen to your spirit guides, listen to synchronicities that are trying to steer you into a way of seeing, specifically a way of seeing the future. Because when you can step into your role as a leader that can take us further and further into a much more flourishing earth and existence, the enigmatic quality around that kind of leadership you have brings assurance. People want to follow the vision you have because it has a certain assurance that people are looking for, that things can be all right, that things can be restored, that things could be beautiful. You have an assurance in your leadership quality that is coming from somewhere mystical. So really, really powerful quality for you guys. Okay, we are going to pick an animal card to get a little more context sort of around the wiring in this. I always think of sort of like spirit animals as really connecting to our nervous systems, our more base kind of wiring that we have. So like what is the wiring underneath this that you can tap into? The swan, an elegance, a lightness. There's a real an ability to express with beauty. And I can't help but think of the ugly duckling turning into the swan. It's like, you know how to take the ugly duckling of our world and give a vision of what the world as a swan could be. But you have to tap into your own swanness, your own elegance, your own ability to make things feel and look beautiful and elegant and a little bit ethereal. I do feel like swans have a bit of an ethereal nature that to them, but this is definitely shining on a light on the fact that you are going to have to maybe go into the ugliness and show how to transform ugly duckling things into swan things by tapping into your own swan wiring. Yeah, beautiful. I don't feel like I need to add much more to that. Yeah, I'm just going to leave that where it is. Okay, we're going to pick another card from the Threads of Fate Oracle deck for a little bit of insight into how you tap this enigmatic quality. What is it that gives you access to this? The Outlaw. I love that. That's perfect. It is about channeling your inner rebel. It is about trusting the things that you want to do differently, that you want to march to your own beat, that you want to break the old system. You know, and some outlaws, some rebels, they really go against the grain and they try to break the old, and some of them are trying to lead toward a new vision. And I feel like that's where you are. It's not so much about protesting against what is and breaking what is, but creating the new thing that draws people away from the old toward the new. But it takes an outlaw spirit, it takes a rebel spirit it's like disruption energy, to create something that will disrupt the old, but not being afraid to disrupt. So it's disruptor energy. That's how you tap into this leadership. But it's beautiful. The disruption you bring is beauty. It is towards flourishing. It is towards a more beautiful vision, a more elegant future for all. Yeah, an elegant pivot, an elegant way of adapting towards some new way of being, new way of flourishing for our future. But it takes, a brave heart, a rebel heart to show this, that, I think a lot of us get really stuck down in the trappings of pessimism and not really being able to see how the future could be really beautiful for our life later, but also for future generations. I think a lot of people are just like, yep, they're effed. But you're daring enough to be like, no, but we got to take action now. We have to take responsibility now. We have to create assurances now, so that future generations can live in a world that can thrive, that can flourish, that can be beautiful and elegant. Okay, last card we're going to see, anything Spirit wants you to know specifically right now about this enigmatic quality. Prism. Ooh, I love this. You are... Okay, so either you are this, or Spirit is telling you to pay attention because this is something it's wanting you to get into, whatever resonates for you. But there's something that you are focusing your energy into. Ugh, sorry, my dogs are fighting. Hopefully you didn't hear that too much. There's something that you are supposed to be focusing on really intensely. And the more you get into this, the more you kind of put some energy into a focus, the more you're going to see a whole spectrum of possibility once you get into the center of this. It's like something that from the outside appearance may look static, may look like there's no way to evolve this thing, but as you put some laser focus into it, you discover a whole new spectrum of ways of looking at this thing, of going forward and leading towards the future with a much more visionary, electric, alive, colorful, so many more possibilities, so many more dimensions of something that either you or the world is looking at as solidified, static, not really knowing how to progress or evolve it. But there's something about your laser vision and the way you see that you're going to break through that. You are going to shine out the other side, that there's a whole rainbow spectrum of new possibility here. Yeah, so watch for that thing. How to access this is getting into that outlaw mode. Where are you being called to feel like, what are you wanting to disrupt? What is the thing that's sort of calling to you that you're like, yeah, that could be disrupting though in the world? Go towards that, and that will show you the thing you're needing to really laser focus on right now. This feels like, this is where I'm going to leave your reading, but I just want to end it with saying like your enigmatic quality, this leadership quality you have that's so like out of this world kind of thing, it's a big one. This is a big responsibility you chose to come to this life with. And I am feeling like this is the moment where like Spirit is saying it's time to start stepping into this. Looking at the boot here, it's time to start really stepping into this. So yeah, that's where I'm going to leave you guys. No pressure. And I hope it resonated. If so, I always appreciate the things like, share, subscribe, and definitely always really grateful and enjoy seeing kind and thoughtful comments. It's nice to feel the presence of specific people out there and not just technology and numbers, So it's always fun to hear a voice, even if it's through written words. So yeah, anyway, this is where I'm going to leave you. I hope you have a beautiful day wherever and whenever you are. See you guys.